The German folk tale The Pied Piper speaks of a man hired by the town to lure the rats away. This man, dressed in a multicolored coat, plays his flute and lures the rats in with magic. The piper is a hero of the town until the people decide not to pay. 1 year later, the piper returns to the German town and uses his music to lure the children away instead. R. Kelly marries Aaliyah at age 15, and while we sing along to age ain't nothing but a number, we find out that R. Kelly met Aaliyah at age 12, and somehow our opinions of him stay on the upbeat. R. Kelly calls himself the Pied Piper of R&B, while a children's choir learns the lyrics to I Believe I Can Fly, and somewhere a flute plays in R. Kelly's home because some boys think you chocolate. Some boys think you cake they can drool over and devour. Some boys don't think at all. See you at some back door, some exotic pond they can dip into when it's warm enough. They always want you warm enough. Like a black woman ain't got enough cause to get cold sometimes. Like my grandma, who for 40 years shared a bed with my molester. And when she found out where Grandpa's hands had been, she shook her head. What a sick, sick man, she said. But it was 15 years ago. There are 2 reasons why we don't talk about rape in the Black community. The same 2 reasons it took me this long to write this poem. The first is denial. Brown-skinned girl can't admit that there was something wrong. No, that didn't happen. Not here, not to your daughter, Mom, not to this brown skin girl. The history of sexual violence towards Black women and girls and our subsequent silencing runs deep, from Masta to present day. And while #MeToo exists, Black women and girls remain almost invisible in these conversations in the white community and especially the Black community. But why? Founder of #MeToo, Tarana Burke, argues there is an internalized oppression that causes the Black community to protect Black male predators like Cosby and R. Kelly, despite the fact that estimates show 60% of Black girls experience sexual violence by the hand of Black men before reaching 18. But we are so used to seeing Black men being oppressed, the community can't help but wonder, would we be doing the same? So through the poetry, Pied Piper by Natasha Hooper, Compassion Fatigue by Ebony Stewart, Brown Skin Girls by Jay Nichelle, Lessons in Healing by Ashley Davis, and a regular rape poem by Sherry Hall, a single voice program. Because as professor of women and gender studies in Rutgers, Dr. Deborah Gray White argues, since Black men tend to be the abusers of Black women, we need to talk about that because we are the only ones who will. The second reason we don't talk about rape in the Black community is fear. Fear to speak because we, Americans, land of the free, can only keep our motto if we keep our mouths closed. And isn't that what rapists want? Control and a silenced victim, so my memories crawl fetal position in the corners of my flashback. My grandma still stayed in that house, still slept in that bed, woke up to that sick, sick man because she had a husband to take care of. Did she lock her bedroom door at night, become prisoner in her own home? Is there even a such thing as home when your body is Black, when your house is Black woman? Once I had the opportunity to teach a group of young middle school girls. I found out that 8 out of 9 of them identified as rape poem. And the one glimmer of hope, the one that wasn't, was transformed into violated calligraphy 1 week later, just like the Pied Piper who lures children away when the adults are in church, most likely singing, R. Kelly tells us that he is devoting his life to the Lord, and an angel drowns out the video footage. R. Kelly hands us a hit, and we give him forgiveness. He gives us a 19-minute song, and the melody makes us forget what the definition of a predator, makes us forget the little brown girls that he wrote those songs for in the first place. And again, no one speaks up when black girls are abused. Like the better the song, the more invisible brown girls become, almost as if entertainment is more important than the allegations, almost as if all their voices together just wasn't the right type of choir. And again, rape and misogyny is just another part of the culture that is tightly woven into a harmony, and we tell our daughters that they are everything less than a symphony, and we learn that music is the best distraction and the worst black magic. Tell me, is the music really that good when one man's voice can sing over them all? When we would rather hold a note than hold a man accountable? When the Pied Piper is the realest fairy folk tale that we ever known, and we give their bodies to pay the price. So do you realize that someone has stopped listening to this poem first because I'm black, and also because I'm woman? Black if I'm still alive, woman if I haven't disappeared yet, got anything anyone might want but my voice. So my body must be what's left for the taking. I don't know how we became treasures we can no longer afford to keep, but I know women who have been raped and who wish their warm bodies' hearts would stop beating, but still woke up the next morning and went to church the next day. How privileged your life must be that you can be tired of hearing poems about race or rape when write about an erased, an extinguished race and violated bodies that are being raped. It is not hard to believe you are tired. But can you imagine how exhausted we must be? But I am used to pain. Brown-skinned girls don't get depression. They get silence. This is no disease. This is your birthright. It is not like trying to get yourself up in the morning. It is not like trying to feel something, anything. It is sadness. It is losing yourself. Brown-skinned girl was broken and raw. She cracked. She cried. She cracked. She cried. She bled. She cut. She bled. She cut. She healed. She healed. She healed. She healed. She healed like all brown-skinned girls must do. And healing begins whenever you are ready, even at age 65. And that day, my grandma served her lemonade without sugar. Told her husband she built this house that would never be home. Told him where you go is no longer my problem. Brought her a plane ticket, one way back to her mother. Taught me a lesson in healing is understanding that a brown woman has a house with walls made of other brown women. Healing is returning what no longer serves you. It's reinvesting it back into yourself. It's remodeling the house so that 15 years later, your granddaughter can come crawl into a bed when she needs a place to heal, without having to lock the door from the inside, without having to pretend I am anything less than deep-rooted, without having to peel back my skin for you. I am not here for the non-believers. This bodily prayer is strictly between my sight and the sun, and all the good folk who entered the presence of this church with no other words on their tongue but amen.